Hey everybody, this is What I'm Scared About AI, Monologue Podcast Part 2. So in this video, in this podcast, we'll be talking about what I'm scared, which is the amount of data AI has, like the amount of personal information AI has. And the reason is in the past week, right, I think like a couple of days ago, I actually communicated a lot of stuff, a lot of personal stuff with AI that I would fear or I would hesitate to communicate with someone very close to me, right? Now, I wouldn't obviously not share the details, but what I would take maybe hours or maybe, kind of build the courage to talk to someone, it was very easy to talk to ChatGPT, like specifically ChatGPT. Like I just turned on the, real time audio, started sharing details, and, ChatGPT, like, hey, maybe this is the issue and stuff. And I thought about why am I doing this, right? And I actually watched a YouTube video from Andre Karpathy, and what he told was people actually trust AI a lot more than they should, right? And it got me thinking, why did I do this in the first place? So I, it's been a week or so, like it's been 10 to 15 days, and the reason of the answer that I found was when people want to talk stuff about, like personal stuff, the fear that people have is people immediately get, like, let's say I were to talk to someone like something personal, right? And immediately the first response is they would get judgmental, right? That's what something I would fear, like he or she would be like very judgmental of me, like, and that is something I would fear, right? Very general, very common, or very general, or like very rational way to think. Secondly, if I were to share someone, right, this is what, maybe I'm wrong, right? This is what I expect. People will start giving you solutions, correct? And when a person has a problem, he or she kind of expects to expects a listener rather than immediately getting solutions, right? So when I started sharing stuff with ChatGPT, it was like, hey, you have this problem, maybe because of this, like maybe because of X or Y reasons. Maybe the solution could be this, or you could try A or B or C, right? And it was constructively giving me, kind of ways to solve my problem, or like kind of analyzing my problem, and asking me questions to kind of elaborate the issue, not just ask telling me like, hey, you have this problem because of, like, this is the way you think, or like, or the way you think is wrong, or like fundamentally the question itself is moot. And this is I think this is the reason I've been sharing a lot, right? And if you ask me, should people do this, I do not recommend actually giving a lot of personal information. But I think generally people are very like easy, like I think I do actually share a lot of, like, I think the first, no, I wouldn't call ChatGPT a person, like that would be like really crazy. The first, kind of have to call ChatGPT a person now. The first person I share my business ideas, or like, kind of run my thoughts through, is ChatGPT. Like, hey, I've got this business idea. I've got this SaaS model. Can you validate that for me, right? Instead of kind of calling my friend or my very close relatives who's in the industry, the first person, like, or the first thing to run my idea or validate my idea is like ChatGPT, right? And this even happens while I'm kind of like outside, I'm walking or taking a walk, kind of, I'm just reading a book, and immediately I'm like, open the ChatGPT iOS app and just start talking to it, right? And this is extremely powerful. Like, it asks you questions in return to kind of understand it better, and gives you like constructive answer, like not just like, okay, this is good, like maybe you should do that. No, like it tells me like, hey, if you want to run with this business model, you might want to scale up to generate profit, or you might want to increase your price. And it's like very constructive and concise answers, not just like immediately telling me, hey, this does not work. And I think this is why people kind of share a lot with ChatGPT these days. And this has been the news lately, where people tell, like, I think this has been the news in the past 2 days. People have been sharing a lot of personal information. People are, kind of communicating a lot with ChatGPT these days. And I think this is the reason why. I'd love to know your details through the comment section, right? Thank you for hearing.